For more on this, we bring in Lori Williams from Mount Royal University. Thanks for joining us, Lori.
Great to be with you.
After numerous calls, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has stepped down. Now, what can we expect to happen over the next few days?
I would actually have hoped that today or very soon we would have more information about what this transition period is going to look like. For example, how long is the race going to take? Who will be able to participate, what will be the deadlines in terms of joining or participating in the vote, and perhaps most importantly, whether current cabinet ministers can continue as cabinet ministers if they decide they want to enter the contest to be the next leader of the Liberal Party and the next Prime Minister.
There are many questions in the minds of Canadians. What are some things that won't change as of now?
Well, we know, and this is important to know, that government continues, just as it would during an election campaign or any other leadership race. Government continues to operate. The cabinet ministers that are there currently will continue to do their work. The senior civil servants will still continue to do their work. A lot of other leaders across the country, whether they be political leaders like premiers or community leaders, economic leaders, and so forth, all of those people will continue to do the work in the area where I think most people are most concerned, dealing with affordability and particularly the impact of the incoming Trump administration on the economic relationship between Canada and the United States. And again, I think a lot of Canadians would like a little bit more clarity, more of a sense that there's a Team Canada approach to that. I would have liked to have seen more information on that in the announcement today or in the press conference today. But the hope is that there will be more information. There will be a bit more coordination, unity, and clarity on that file.
Any ideas on who could be next to lead the Liberal Party?
Sure. There's a fairly significant list of very talented people that could be running for the leadership. We know that Mark Carney, for example, over the last few days has been sort of testing out potential support amongst members of the Liberal caucus and others in the business community. So I think Mark Carney is considered to be a very serious candidate for the leadership. Christy Clark, another outsider, somebody who isn't currently sitting in the government, has mused about running for the leadership. And both of them have a bit of an advantage in that they are outside of the current government, and particularly Christy Clark, because she hasn't been associated with the decisions and policies in the way that Mark Carney has. Christy Clark could be someone who could be seen as a really sort of fresh start, a new direction for the party, and someone who's seen as much more centrist than perhaps some of the others. Obviously, within the current or recent cabinet positions, Chrystia Freeland is topping the lists of those who might want to take on the leadership, and she's polling highest of anybody at this stage in the game. She's number one, Mark Carney's number two, but that could change significantly during the course of the race. So Dominic LeBlanc, of course, is seen as actually a pretty credible alternative, somebody who's very capable both politically and just in terms of his ability to manage complex files. He's got a really good record in terms of his abilities. Mélanie Joly, François-Philippe Champagne, Anita Anand, potentially even Sean Fraser, although his reasons for resigning from cabinet and saying he wasn't running again would make it difficult, I think, for him to enter this race.
How do you think a new Liberal contender will fare against the other parties, particularly the Conservatives?
It's important to understand that this is still going to be an incumbent government, even with a new leader, and it's hard for a new leader to sort of change direction after at any time when a government's been in power for the 9 or 10 year mark. It makes it very difficult for them to win an election. It's more difficult now than in other periods in history, simply because affordability is such a big issue for voters that incumbent governments have been really struggling, not just in Canada, but really throughout Western democracies. Incumbent governments have not fared well. They are under siege, basically, from dissatisfied voters. And so that would make it very difficult for even a new leader, even a leader from outside, to do very well. Having said that, those outsiders, particularly Christy Clark and Mark Carney, more so Christy Clark because she hasn't been closely associated with this government. They might have a better chance at presenting a new vision and have being favorably compared with the opposition, because Pierre Poilievre does not have the same kind of heft or experience. He doesn't have the experience of being somebody who's been in government. He doesn't have the experience that Mark Carney does on the financial side as being governor of the Bank of Canada and Bank of England. On those sort of experiential questions, Pierre Poilievre does not compare as favorably with some of those that could be running for the Liberal leadership. But having said all of that, it's still a very steep climb to come out of a double-digit deficit and to actually win the next election.
That's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining us, Lori.
Thank you.